arm around everybody and intimidate everybody into voting for it and everything. You need to look at the evidence. You've heard a lot of testimony here about the water issues, the traffic issues and all that. I've heard nothing from them previously or currently on any studies being done for or against it. But everybody here knows the impacts that they have had. I trust these citizens before I trust a lawyer. Thank you.
All right, anybody else would like to speak on this prior to closing the public comments?
All right, so the record is clear. All of those comments were made pursuant to a request for first reading of ordinance number 1532, an ordinance voluntarily annexing certain real property into the city limits of Live Oak, Florida, and redefining the boundary lines of the municipality to include said property, providing for severability, conflict, and an effective date. This is the first reading of this proposed ordinance, and again, caution the council to keep the cart before the horse. We're not letting the cart get before the horse. The issue tonight is, does the city council believe it is in the public's best interest to bring 13.74 acres as described into the city limits?
All right, what would be the pleasure of the council concerning this? The way I understand things is, as far as things like this that have happened in the past, it's pretty much our obligation to make a motion one way or the other and go on record. I don't think that the option is to table or to not.
Number one, you can table, and if there's no motion, to take no action.
So it is
So we can table this. So we can table it.
You can make a motion.
I make a motion that we table this proposal.
All right, so we have a motion.
Second.
Second discussion.
All right.
I just want to go on record and be clear that what we're choosing to do with this motion and second is to table this based on evidence that's been presented here tonight. And I'm torn, not emotionally or anything of that nature, but I just want to make sure that we understand that if we legally can be held liable, is that not true? Or, as you said, putting the cart before the horse?
Well, just wanted to make sure the decision would not be based on things that are going to come down the road if it is annexed. The issue tonight is whether or not you want to bring the 13.74 acres into the city, which would then control all activity thereafter. If you think you need more information regarding that, irrespective of developmental concerns which aren't before the council tonight, but the council can make the decision, yea or nay, is do we bring it in, do we leave it out, or if more information is needed to take.
Okay.
And let me now say something.
Sure.
This, for us, kind of torn between, but trying to remember what last year, but now I understand how things are presented this time. We're just worried about the annexation, am I correct?
That's correct.
For its future development and anything else has nothing to do with annexation, correct?
That's correct. They have to meet a statutory checklist, and when they meet that statutory checklist, and Mr. Curtis, I think, can confirm that they have, they check the boxes, and then that allows you to consider then whether you think it is in the public's best interest to bring that property within the city.
So if we don't, we have to, those 16 points, do we have to come up with Reasoning,
Those are applicable to the zoning
Okay.
and
so
consequences.
those are the ones. Okay.
That's why I wanted to make sure that we held it as a
Point of
quasi-judicial
order,
hearing.
would this still constitute first reading?
Sir,
If you table it,
recognize.
does it still
I'm sorry, you
constitute?
If it's tabled, it would then come back before the council at some point. What's consideration tonight is a first reading, which would then, if passed, necessitate a second reading and a subsequent public hearing on the second reading.
Is everybody clear on that?
Yes.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, questions? or
Question?
comments from the council? All right, hearing none, we'll just roll call it. Alford, no.
Owens, no.
Brown Robinson,
This is on the motion to take it.
no.
Yeah,
Oh,
the motion will
oh,
take it.
okay.
The motion is to
I
take
need
it.
an aye.
Okay.
So if you vote yes, you're voting to table it. If you vote no, you're not, you're voting not to table it.
Right.
Still alternate.
Owens, yes.
Brown Robinson, yes.
Jefferson, yes.
And Campbell would be a no, but it passes 3-2 to table. All right, moving on to next item, L.
See you later.
Yeah, give them just a second, Mr. Campbell, if I may.
The only thing on the agenda is the chickens. That's the only thing we're talking about. Selling
All right, now, we'll proceed then with the next item, which is L. I believe this is final reading of ordinance number 1554, an ordinance of the city of Live Oak, Florida, amending the future land use classification to 0.74 acres more or less, small scale of land on the future land use plan map of the city of Live Oak comprehensive plan pursuant to an application CPA 26-01 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3161 through 163.3215 Florida statutes as amended, and Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for a change in the assigned future land use classification from residential moderate density to residential medium density on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority, and an effective date.
All right, we'll open it up this time for
Public hearing.
public hearing. I know Mr. Patel is already sworn in. I have you sworn in? No, you have.
not yet.
So if you plan to speak, I'm sorry, on this item, if you would, go ahead and stand, and then we'll swear you in, and then we can continue. All right, go ahead.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Curtis, did you want to start off? Do you have anything you wanted to say right off the bat? And then Mr. Patel can be there for questions.
Sure. Curtis, Development Manager, City of Live Oak. This is a land use change that is required as a prerequisite for the requested zoning change, which is the next agenda item. This did go before the Planning and Zoning Board, where they recommended approval, and it was approved at the first reading last month before the City Council. Staff's recommendation is the same as prior for approval, and all the documents and evidence that were submitted previously are still in effect for it.
And are part of the record.
Part of the record.
Thank Bill, do you have anything you want to say, or stand by for questions?
Yeah, I'll be just for the question.
Okay. Are we the pleasure of the council at this time? Well, we haven't closed public hearing time, so technically I can,
Yeah, we're still in the public hearing.
but we can, but he just wants to be there for questions if we have, when we haven't had a motion.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine, go ahead.
All right, so what would be the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion that we approve the final reading of ordinance 1554.
I'll second. Motion is second. Any questions for Mr. Patel? All right, seeing none, we can close the public hearing portion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign. All right, final reading of ordinance 1554 is approved. Next item.
Next item is ordinance number 1555 for final reading. An ordinance of the city of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district to 0.22 acres more or less of land on the official zoning atlas of the city of Live Oak Land Development Regulations pursuant to an application LDR 26-01 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, providing for a change in the assigned zoning from residential single-family 2 RSF2 to commercial neighborhood CN on certain lands within the corporate limits of the city of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing authority and an effective date.
All right. At this time, we'll open it up for public comment.
I have a question. What are they gonna build there?
If you want to
Yeah, I can
get
get
sworn in
sworn in,
and
sure.
then come to the podium, is that how we want to do this?
Yes.
All right, just raise your right hand and listen.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm Phyllis Bertolo. I live in the Meadows in Live Oak. What are you gonna build there? What's that gonna be? It says it's gonna be turned into commercial. So it is supposed to be single-family house. What's gonna be there instead of a single-family house?
There would be, if I may speak, Mr. Curtis, there's a myriad of proposals, allowed uses for the new zoning designation and land comp designation. So there'd be many different alternatives. I'm not sure what the special
Sure,
sections for this.
sure. George Curtis, Development Manager. So the gas station that's at the corner of Helvenston and White Avenue already has commercial neighborhood zoning. This is an adjacent vacant property to the north of the existing parking lot and fuel pumps. And they want to expand on the backside of the convenience store to add some coolers. And there has to be a ratio of vacant property compared to improved property. There has to be, you have to maintain at least a 20% area of green space. And because the majority of the gas station, convenience store, fuel islands, and the convenience store is all paved or impervious area, in order for them to build onto the back of the store and create more impervious area, you have to designate some green space on property that's currently not the same zoning. This, in effect, makes it the same zoning, so that property can be combined together with the gas station, and then the ratio of green space will be maintained in order for them to get permits. So there's not, and I believe the owner can speak also to this, but the conversations we've had with the owner, he doesn't at this time have any plans to build on that vacant property. This just helps them build on the back of the store, which is their current plan.
So will it remain an empty lot, or will it be a bigger part of the gas station?
So that's,
Or will it be a parking
anything
lot?
can change in the future.
Well, what's the plan? I walk there every
Right.
day. Is it gonna be a bigger gas station?
Maybe
Or
the
is it
the owner.
bigger parking lot?
Sorry, I didn't want to speak when I was sitting
You're
down.
okay, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
The only plan we have right now is to keep it vacant. It's not like green zone, so we can't do anything there.
Okay.
And that will sufficient, like Mr. Curtis said. The only thing we are doing is to cover that green space. So it's gonna be vacant lot.
Okay, that's
Does
all.
that answer your
Thank you.
question, ma'am?
Thank you.
All right, perfect. All right, any further? Yes, ma'am. Make sure you raise your right hand and get sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm.
Thank you.
Name's Cheryl Cruz, 125 Second Street, Northwest Live Oak, Florida. I know where he's located, but what are they building on the back of it now? It's got concrete blocks. Somebody's already building something on the back of it, so I was just wondering,
We have the coolers there, coolers, walk-in coolers for the.
walking coolers
drinks
there,
and
but you got the permit and everything for that.
That's a separate issue that we are working on, but this is to do the green zone.
Okay. But you haven't got a top on it yet, have you?
No, not yet.
But you can get the top put on. You gonna put a roof on it?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, if this goes through,
If this goes through, then.
then you can put your roof on it.
Correct. That was-
So you had already started building and you found out that,
We want
that you did not have enough. Because you gotta be 10 foot from the line.
Yeah.
You gotta have some green space.
Right now, we're kind of getting off
Put
that.
bushes and stuff.
Ma'am,
So you didn't know that.
Man, we're getting way off track here. If you have
Well,
something to address,
I don't know.
just address the council.
Yeah,
That's all.
well, I'm just wondering, you know, 'cause
Yes, ma'am.
there's already the structure there without a roof hooked on to the gas station. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, any further information? All right, I'll let him stay there just for a moment. What is the pleasure of the council?
Make a motion to approve final reading of 1555.
Second.
All right, motion is second. Any further discussion? All right, you can have a seat now. And all in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign? All right. And final reading of ordinance 1555 is approved. All right, next item.
Final reading of ordinance number 1556, an ordinance of the city of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district to 0.22 acres more or less of land on the official zoning atlas of the city of Live Oak, land development regulations pursuant to an application LDR 2602 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the land development regulations, providing for a change in the assigned zoning district from residential single-family / manufactured home to RSF MH-2 to residential office RO on certain lands within the corporate limits of the city of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority and an effective date. Need a public hearing?
Yep.
Final reading.
Open up the public hearing at this point. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing portion. What will be the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion that we accept ordinance 1556.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, like sign. All right, final reading of ordinance 1556 is approved, and the last, well, almost the last, but the last agenda item I have for Mr. Sessions is O, I believe.
Ordinance number 1557 for final reading, an ordinance of the city of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district to 0.83 acres more or less of land on the official zoning atlas of the city of Live Oak land development regulations pursuant to an application LDR 26-03 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the land development regulations, providing for a change in the assigned zoning district from commercial general CG to commercial intensive CI on certain lands within the corporate limits of the city of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing authority and an effective date.
All right, open up for a public hearing portion. Seeing none, we'll close. To the pleasure of the council.
Offer a motion that we accept ordinance number 1557 or approve 1557.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign. Final reading of ordinance 1557 is approved. Okay. Yes, sir, go ahead.
So there's a couple of things I just want the council to think about. No discussion or vote has to happen tonight, but there's two things I'd like to discuss. With what's happened lately, with the growth of the city and things going on, I'd like to take a possible department head and make them an assistant city manager with certain duties I would give them. And then also, since I've not been able to be evaluated, I still would like to see if the council would see fit to give me some type of raise for y'all to think about in the future. That's all I have.
And also, before we discuss that as well, Mr. Curtis, do you have something you want to add? I'm confused a little bit.
Yes, sir. George Pierce, Development Manager. So, when the packet went out from the city clerk at 5:04 p.m. A week ago today, the entire packet had all the agenda items, but the first page agenda layout omitted the last three that were already in the packet. And so Deputy Clerk April sent out a subsequent agenda to everybody that included the next three first reading ordinances that were in the packet, just weren't on the agenda. So that was distributed as soon as we caught the omission. We actually have three more votes, first readings of
It's all
ordinances.
quasi-judicial, or
They are not.
It's the alley.
It's closing roads.
Yeah, closing roads.
So
All right.
we would not have the quasi-judicial. And you would not need a public hearing unless somebody signed up specifically for any of these three things.
Okay.
All right,
So-
first reading of ordinance number 1558, an ordinance of the city of Live Oak, Florida relating to public right-of-ways, making findings and vacating segments of unimproved platted street alleys within the city of Live Oak, Florida as follows. That certain unnamed alley lying between lots 3, 4, 5, 6, and 13 within Block B as recorded on the official plat of the Oakhurst subdivision dated March of 1964, according to the plat thereof on file in the tax assessment